On its second year, basically an S-Class for the SUV, we're gonna show you pure luxury like this. '22 Mercedes GLS600 Maybach. Is this going to be more luxurious than the Land Rover, Range Rover, or your BMW XB7? I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides. I'm gonna go over all the specs and details, starting now. The Mercedes Maybach GLS63 has everything that you would want from an S-Class into an SUV, starting with your LED headlamps and daytime runnings. Because it's Maybach, everything's gonna get the chrome treatment, and you'll get the 3-point star on the hood, just like an S-Class with Maybach. Badging on the grille, you'll have the vertical lines, which is unique, and on the lower, you'll have the honeycomb, all chromed out, and finishing off with the gloss black adjustable suspension. This is not going to be the tallest in the category. That goes to the Land Rover, Range Rover, and you're probably not gonna ford through water. You can do some maneuverability off-roading, don't get me wrong, but when you're in this price tag, I don't think you're gonna be doing much. Aggressive luxury blend, 204.9 inches of a length, which is going to be less than the Land Rover, Range Rover, set with its unique Maybach, 22-inch by 9.5 in the front, 22 by 12 inches in the rear, multi-spoke alloy wheels, 4-wheel independent double wishbone front suspension, a multi-link rear suspension with self-leveling E-active body control, automatic Maybach running boards, satin chrome around all of your window treatment and on the roof rails, a wheelbase 123.4 inches. The Maybach is definitely going to have the presence of something special, and when you're at this price category, that's what you're really anticipating. That's why I like this and the BMW XB7, because it stands itself out of class. When you go into the Land Rover, Range Rover, it is special, don't get me wrong. You can get the autobiography, you're gonna spend 180, 200,000 plus. It's just, you can tell the essence of a Maybach and a BMW XB7. When it goes into the autobiography, you could really only tell the cues inside or the badging that's going to be on the rear, because they made it so subtle in the changes for the 2023, whereas here you got badges everywhere, and they still emphasize the Mercedes badging. With the lower roof spoiler, the gloss black that integrates over these LED tail lamps, and you'll get the chrome that starts on the side pillars working across all of it, Maybach badging, and your Mercedes-Benz, the GLS600. You can still tow up to 7,700 pounds. With the BMW, you're not going to be able to do that. The Land Rover, Range Rover will be able to tow more, but how much more towing do you need? You can tow a pretty large boat, dual exhaust, you'll get the chrome treatment and the gloss black, reverse parking sensors, 360-degree reverse camera, power liftgate, 18.4 cubic feet. We do have a little bit of area for some storage. You get a 12-volt charger. Storage is not going to necessarily be the most, but it's enough for your adventure. We got a bi-turbo V8. We need to go inside, start it up, so we can hear what that exhaust sounds like. And you still receive a throaty exhaust note, soft closed doors, and they back the performance with a 4.0 liter V8 bi-turbo with mild hybrid drive, producing 550 horsepower and 538 pound-feet of torque. That's paired to a 9G-tronic automatic transmission, achieving 14 to 20 mpgs with the 0 to 60 around 4.8 seconds. And it's going to be a little bit slower than the BMW, but you're not looking for full performance. The fact that you're still getting those numbers in the size of this vehicle is really insane, because this is derived for nothing but pure luxury, and that's what it sets out on the exterior, showing the S-Class and a GLS600. Let me know in the comments what you think about the 2022 Mercedes-Benz GLS600 Maybach as we go into the interior, go over the tech, and take this for our test. Entering inside the GLS600 Maybach Mercedes-Benz, and you're going to start off with 42.5 inches of headroom, 40.3 inches of legroom, stainless steel pedals, and the badging here going inside to your Napa leather 12-way power adjustments for the front occupants, memory seats, heated, massage, ventilated, handcrafted wood that goes to the lower dashboard area. All of your air vents are going to be stationed in the center or on the second tier of this dash with a full leather wrap heads-up display going into your two screens, one for your infotainment screen with navigation. You have the pinch and you got the swipe. Click the home button so you can see there is a ton of apps, so we're just going to go through it really briefly. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Sirius XM, AM, FM, streaming, Bluetooth audio, Wi-Fi hotspot. Click into your comfort so you can go into your massage seats. Here is awesome because look how many different massage seat capabilities that you have. You just hit the play button and then it'll start. Your seat comfort, you can change the bolstering and your lumbar support, so it gives you an additional amount of power adjustments. Your ambient lighting, you can change and configure the whole cabin, and you can see Mercedes is the best when it comes to ambient lighting. And you have your energizing comfort, which is a nice little aspect when you click onto it. This nice little fireplace. Click back into here, click back into home, switch it to reverse, 360-degree reverse camera with full trajectory like you would expect. Click here and you'll have different camera positions that can make it easier for your reversing because this is a longer vehicle. Dual climate control settings, the wood opens up into your wireless charging pad, heated and cooled cup holders, your touchpad which will go into that infotainment screen, your dynamic mode, raise and lower the suspension, put it into manual, and you can alter the suspension setting. It's going to be nice and soft, open up inside, and it is pretty deep with a USB-C, and you got a little area right here for some cards, and you're going to have that sport feel right here with the ambient lighting that wraps around. Going into your 3-spoke leather and wood AMG steering wheel. It's multi-function with the touch-sensitive pads, paddle shifters, any information for the driver. You can change Going on to your door panel, we have the upgraded Burmaster sound system, soft materials everywhere. All of your seat settings here, one touch up and down for all your windows. It's going to be nice and soft. You have a smaller storage pocket, but it's complemented with a larger speaker. For the back seats, I'm at 40.2 inches of headroom, 43.4 to 52.8 inches of legroom, which is the best in class comparing it to the rivals. Reclining seats. Multi-functionality for your seats, heated, ventilated massage, wireless charging pads right here in the center. Open up in here and you'll have your heated and cooled cup holders, dual climate control in the center with your air vents, some more of that ambient lighting. Open up in here and you have the best part. You now have your own tables to do any work that you need, or you can just sit back here like an airplane and eat off of your table. You have a home plug inside, and behind us we have a refrigerator, which you can put your champagne bottles right inside, and you got a little storage compartment right here with more of that wood that goes all the way into the actual cargo area with more air vents, the leather. You have the ambient lighting that wraps around, goes across all of the pano moonroof. Some storage back here with another air vent. Leather is going to be encased on the roof, and you'll have the upgraded sound system with your air vents. and even leather right here, so they polish it off very nicely. Going on to that door panel, it is going to have all soft materials. The nice thing is everything can be done on both sides for all of your sunshades, and it goes all the way to the back where there would be a third row. They do not offer that for the Maybach. Wood inlays, soft for your elbows, same size storage pocket with that complement for the large speaker in the back. Normally I start my reviews out with some performance, but this is elegance. So we're gonna start it off the way you would normally drive this vehicle before we give it the full capacity of what it is worth. Interior noise, it is quiet. Sound deadening is amazing. This is by far one of the most quiet SUVs I have ever driven. MSRP is $165,100, which is not necessarily over the top when you're considering everything you're getting in this vehicle. You still have towing capacity. You have so much more room in the second row. It's crazy. Yes, you can't option a third row in the Land Rover, Range Rover. You will be able to for the 2023. But I don't think you would do that anyways. When you're in this price point, you want it to be as executive as possible because you are trying to be a baller, or you already are a baller. Bi-turbo V8 going a little bit, and now we're gonna give her a go. It still stays plush and quiet. These are huge wheels. Maneuverability, pretty decent as well. It's a very long, it's a very heavy vehicle. You kind of feel it in the pedal until you hit around 2.5 RPMs, but there's just so much luxury around you that you just overlook the performance numbers. It's not the largest. That's going to go to the Land Rover, Range Rover, and that one is going to be right about the same speed, 0 to 60, and the BMW XB7 will be the fastest. Going to the things that I like and dislike about the Maybach is going to have to start off with the seamless mild hybrid technology that they have implemented, and they started it with the S-Class last year, or in 2021 I should say, because the 23s are out now. The 23s are not out yet for this particular vehicle. You can't hear the car turn on or off, and you barely feel any movement at all. So they did an excellent job keeping it as seamless as possible. The second thing that I like about the vehicle is in the back seats. You can recline those seats all the way back. The disadvantage, or what I dislike, I'm tall, so I cannot actually do that. Let's rock and roll. She is fast. Boy, she's fast. 4.8 seconds doesn't sound like a lot, but when you are moving this much weight, it really is. The last thing that I like about the vehicle is this is the S-Class for a GLS, and it's the top of the line that you could go to, and it feels like they gave everything from the car inside this, and you have so much more length in the interior space because it's an SUV, yet you have that bulged twin dome hood that stresses AMG performance. The things that I dislike, you heard the one. The second thing, you really have to option the GLS63S in order to get over 600 horsepower. And that, I kind of wish they would have gave that horsepower to this, because it would have made the maneuverability and the speed a lot more quick, especially considering this goes after the BMW XB7. The last thing that I dislike about the vehicle, when you get into the Land Rover, Range Rover, everything is automatic. Here it's manual for your tray for the back seat. I know that might sound like it's a picky thing, but if I'm a CEO, if I'm a big time baller, I just want to push a button and have the thing fold out for me so I can just throw my laptop. Obviously, I wouldn't probably be driving this particular vehicle. If I owned it, I would have my butler driving it. So therefore, they may be able to do everything that I need. Turn radius and more or less a stop point is going to receive about barely 2 lanes, which is amazing for something that's over 204 inches. Going back to the rivals, BMW and Mercedes make a very easy infotainment screen layout. Land Rover gets a little bit more complicated. The gauge cluster, however, for Mercedes is the most configurable ways, and it can take you a long time, as you saw in the interior, to really go over everything in depth. Drive quality, this is going to have the fun spirit plus the luxury captured. BMW does the same thing. Land Rover, it feels very sporty and athletic, but you don't feel that same like an AMG or an M car. The screens are a little bit bigger, and they're actually the biggest in that particular car. As for interior space, you're going to have more space in the second row for this one because you're not going to get a third row, and you can still option it as a 4 or 5 seater. Comparing it to the Land Rover Range Rover, price savings, this is going to be almost the start price of a autobiography, which changes the whole ball game when you're looking at a vehicle at this magnitude, at this price point. The steering, very light, artificial. You got blind spot monitoring, so you're not going to really be looking back because it's a very long vehicle. It doesn't really feel boaty when you go in and out, and that's derived to the e-body control system. So an excellent job with the way they did the whole dynamics of this. Really around 3 RPM is where this thing gets motivated. Once you pass that, sky's the limit. It's not going to feel that wide in the lane, even though the hood projects that this vehicle is humongous. The steering wheel is sleek, so it does feel a little bit more sport drive, and I like the leather and wood mixture that they do with the touch sensitive pads on the steering wheel, because it does make it a little bit seamless in the sense of changing any configuration for the gauge cluster or the infotainment screen. The side view mirrors are a little bit smaller to my liking, only because of the length of this vehicle, but because the hood projects itself so much and you got that 3-point star at the end, you really know that this is a long vehicle. Another thing to know, when you start getting into these premium price points with Mercedes-Benz, you don't hear hardly any of the motors when you're rolling up and down the windows, when you're opening the pano moonroof, when you're moving or adjusting your seats, the steering wheel, opening the tailgate. They just really cover all of any noise that would make it uncomfortable or undesirable, because they know that you're getting a plush luxury vehicle. And I applaud them, because when you start getting into other vehicles, like Cadillac does a great job, don't get me wrong, just you're gonna hear all those motors when you're rolling down the windows, opening up the pano moonroof or your tailgate. It makes a noise. You barely hear it inside these vehicles. So they do go the step above, and they give you extra leather on areas in which a lot of the other automotive industries will not. So taking in consideration all of what you're getting, great value. I'd like to thank Mercedes of Clearwater for giving us this 2022 Mercedes-Benz GLS600 Maybach for our car review. If you're already a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Hawkeye community. If not, I don't know what you're waiting for. Click the next video and the subscribe button. Check out the Instagram, merchandise, website, and everything we do here at Hawkeye Rides.